Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series. Today's episode is sponsored by Destination Madison, host of the 2026 Outdoor Writers Association of America annual conference. During today's episode, we hope to share with you why Madison, Wisconsin, and the surrounding communities in Dane County are the perfect destination for family vacations, couples getaways, outdoor adventures, meetings, conferences, and conventions. Our guest today is Tyler Leeper. He is the owner of Madison Boats. Tyler, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. We're excited to host the conference here and coming up here in August.
Fantastic. Now, I have this vision for my podcast, because it is called the Outdoor Adventure Series, is to actually put the outdoors and outdoor adventure, but you have truly lived up to the outdoors today. You have a beautiful setting behind you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm over at our Wingra location. It is in the middle of the city, surrounded by the Arboretum, all paddlecraft, and it's a beautiful day, so couldn't find a better office than out here on the docks.
All right. And I can imagine being a part of Madison Boats and having this business for many years, being on the water is pretty special for you.
It is. Grew up, Grandpa had a sailboat. We'd jump off and hold on to the line and let him drag us around. We had a catamaran that my cousins would flip, and we'd dive off the top pontoon. Family vacations were always loading up canoes and driving in the middle of the winter down south to go find some open water. So water's definitely been a big focus and always a draw and a grounding place for me.
Excellent. Now, are you a native of the Madison area or Wisconsin in general, or had you grown up elsewhere?
Yeah, native of Wisconsin, grew up outside of Madison, moved to Madison in fourth grade, and then we started a lot of international travel, moved around quite a bit, and ended up going out to undergrad on the West Coast, Lewis and Clark in Portland, Oregon, which was fantastic. But as I was exploring my life options in political science, I wasn't quite ready to fetch coffee for the next couple of years, knock on doors, or go to law school. So I begged the current owner of my summertime job to open up another location with me. And he turned, and he had bought the business years prior for his kids to work. They were all getting a little older. And he said, go talk to your parents, and why don't you buy this one? I said, I don't need to talk to my parents. I had $1,200 in my account and was feeling really rich. I'll buy it. And so that was kind of the story. I bought it at the ripe age of 20. It's kind of, I keep thinking it was my place to hang out until I figured out what I wanted to do in life. And every time I questioned what I wanted to do in life, there was no better place than hanging out here on the lake, and then all the different things that we get to do in the outdoor industry, the lives we get to change, the stories we get to hear. And as I keep having my 5-10 year questions of what I want to do, it kept coming back to, no, I can do more at the boathouse than I could somewhere else. So it's been great.
This is great. I used to work with a gentleman when I was in the IT field. I'm a recovering IT business consultant, and I don't think I was ever truly happy doing the IT work. And there's just something about every 5 years having to change a job, and I don't get that. I like consistency, but as a coach now in my profession, in addition to podcasting, I really believe doing something we love is more important than the dollars we make. I mean, dollars are good, being comfortable, taking care of yourself, your family is important, but doing work we love is so very important. And as you just described, being around the water, making a difference for people that come your way. I mean, you kind of have to pinch yourself, I would imagine.
Yeah. Often.
Okay. So tell us about Madison Boats. You bought the business. How has it evolved in the years when you started? I also have some questions about the water and the lakes
Yeah.
around you and in your locations, but how has Madison Boats evolved over the years in supporting the experiences, for the community?
Yeah. I think all of it goes kind of hand in hand. You mentioned the dollars. So I ended up buying it in 2005. We um, I started as an owner, and my goal at the time was to make $30,000 to $40,000 and be able to live pretty comfortably. So there was definitely a driving force of like, can I make this just hobby kind of business work for myself? Then as I grew, I started taking business classes, realized that just the simple logic of business makes a lot of sense in my head. So I started applying it to the boathouse and really saw a lot of potential growth, but I got distracted along the way, especially in the business field. Ended up taking over a medical startup company, ran that for a number of years, and then realized that I didn't want to be solving pressure ulcers and falls, but wanted to be spending more time out on the water. And I was doing both at the same time, but was finding that we had more and more opportunities to connect with our community. We had developed an incredible program with all the boys and girls clubs around the area, getting kids out onto the water. We were having a lot of success in our partnerships. And so I stepped away from the the medical company, opened up our second location at Brittingham Boats, and really started to realize what we do here at Madison Boats, which is community building. We're selling time with each other. We're selling time with the outdoors.
Mhm.
It's it's not about the activity. We would love everybody to know how paddle strokes, but if someone comes back, the handle of the paddle is in the water and they're holding on to the blade with a big smile on their face, we say that's success because A, they came back, and B, they were happy. So there's more efficient ways, but that was kind of the aha moment where I'm not in the outdoor industry. I'm in the community building space. I'm in
Okay.
the activity space. And that was really a neat kind of transition for Madison Boats and how we've found success in a major way, is really focusing on those activities that bring people together instead of the skill aspect that is so often focus.
Okay. I love that, and as you were just sharing, you're not in the outdoor boating industry per se, you're in the community building, and I've heard other similar sayings, and I'm not even gonna try to I can remember one of them, but I'm not even gonna go there, but as you have been building these helping to build and nurture the communities through these experiences, what have been the range of the types of water activities and the types of craft that you're introducing the community
Yeah.
to get out on the water with?
Yeah. I think so our craft, we have about 500 paddle craft, everything from giant duck and swan paddle boats. Uh, we have probably about 120 paddle boards, a lot of kayaks, sit on top kayaks, giant 8-person, 10-person paddle boards are always popular. And then we have a fleet of um, large pontoon boats that we do a lot of excursions programs off of, as well as self-driven and captained rentals. So we keep adding different paddle craft. We'll try some of the new novelty ones. I remember getting the pedal assist kayaks when they first came out.
Mm.
They were wonderful and they still are, but a complication and a learning curve when we want to remove as many barriers as possible for either the first time paddler or whoever's coming down. So we keep looking at our equipment, making sure that it's top of the line, but also very simple. And it's not something that anyone needs a lot of education on how to operate it. So that's been one area of like, how do we remove barriers so that everybody can get out and start doing the activity as quickly as possible?
Mhm.
The other side that you mentioned was the activities. And oh man, this year I think we have 152 public facing events, not including our private groups and organizations in about 120 days. So that's everything from our health and wellness series of sup yoga, sup Pilates, mindfulness. Tonight we have a 60-person sound bath in the middle of the lake. So
Oh, wow.
we have a really wonderful woman who will take out our band boat. So we have band boats and burger boats, and so she'll take out one of our floating platforms, set up a full sound bath, and then we do anchor lines so that people can clip in and just float and enjoy meditation, a sound bath. So that's the wellness side. Then we'll have our education side with the Learn To programs where we can teach people how to paddle and how to pontoon. And then we really have a lot of fun with what we kind of call our signature events. That's our full moon paddles, where we put a band in the middle of the lake. We have 3 or 4 fire pits where everybody's roasting marshmallows. And it's just really cool to see 500 boats all sitting out listening to a band in the middle of the night. We have our burgers on the bay every Friday where you paddle out and we have a bunch of people flipping hamburgers and veggie burgers, and another boat with live music. So you can have your burger and your music right out on the water. And so we keep trying to get as creative as possible to make sure we don't get bored, as well as our customers. But all of them, when we put the emphasis on skill, we end up falling short. When we put it on community, we end up seeing just tremendous success and following. So it's been a blast, like playing through all these different activities. And the last thing, Howard, I'll mention just on this, the great thing of being in Wisconsin is we're seasonal. So we got an on and an off.
Right.
It has a hell of a lot of challenges, excuse me, but it's rough. The thing is, at the end of the year, when the boats get put away and packed up, we get to look at it and say, hey, did that actually work? Was that any good?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, we may have even made money, but was it worth the energy? Was it successful? So we spend a lot of time with what we call our R&D in the off season and evaluating our programs, coming up with new ideas. Most of it feels like treading water because it doesn't even come to light, but I guess that's R&D. And, but it's a nice way where we get to turn off and we get to say that wasn't good or that was good. Let's add.
Well, it's nice to have this wild, crazy idea. Oh, we thought it would work. Even if it doesn't, at least you tried. A couple years ago, our annual conference was down in Gulf Shores, Alabama. And so I had produced a podcast series very similar to what I'm doing with Destination Madison. One of the guests on the podcast was with Gulf Shores and Orange Beach Tourism. They had an event and I missed it because of the timing, though me on a kayak and my size, I'm and my age, I'm at the age right now where I have to think, is that a good idea? Okay. But having said that, they had these I don't know, it was once a month they had a painting on the water type of excursion. So they take the kayaks out and the kayakers would do watercolors from the boat. So they'd be, you know,
Wow.
painting of the scenery. So much like you take your kayakers out in the lakes in Wisconsin and just you do watercolors. So Tyler, there's an idea for you.
I'm writing it. I just wrote it down. I got the pen. I knew I had a pen out here for a reason.
You got to have a pen and a paper for a reason. So I am couple of questions as you've been sharing this information. One is the people that are in the team that is supporting these experiences. I imagine they're seasonal employees. Maybe you have some full timers, but what's that makeup? Who's helping to make Madison Boats a success each year?
it's certainly not me out here doing everything. I oftentimes just make the mess. And unfortunately, I have to ask others to help me clean it up. But I have an incredible management team that are work on this kind of year round. We have a location manager for each spot, and then our camp director who oversees our outdoor education and kids camps. And then we have, let's see, last I checked, we have about 130 staff on this year. It it's incredible. When I first started, we had, I think I was the sixth employee. Now we have 130, and we could absolutely do this job with probably half, maybe even less, if we went to more full-time staff. But one of the things that I've has been a huge challenge, but it also has some wonderful benefits, is we continue to hire quite young. We have
Mhm.
a number of 14, 15-year-olds. We have quite a few 16 to 18s, 18 to 25 is our kind of next bucket. And then we have a lot of, oh, either retired or almost retired staff that come down and do a shift or two. So our average employee or crew member will probably do 3 shifts a week.
Mhm.
They'll also go on vacation and be gone for 2 or 3 weeks. So we have some staff that might only work 8 days in a whole summer.
Okay.
We try to avoid that at all costs, but they bring such passion, such energy. They care about it, which can't be replaced. And oftentimes that young first time job is so meaningful, and we put a lot of responsibility on them. We have a lot of high expectations, and they step up and meet it over and over again. I always share you don't get fired for making mistakes. You only get fired if you don't want to be here. So if you
Right.
prefer to be on your phone or talking to your friends, go. That's okay. If you want to be down here, we'll figure everything else out. And then we expect them to figure it out. And they do. They do a fantastic job.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I imagine there's a lot of training that goes into these types of positions, the mentoring. And
Yep.
is there also any type of watercraft certification that's required?
Yeah. So we have everybody do their boater safety license. Then we go through a pretty extensive training. Every year they have to do all staff training. Then we do bi-location, bi-weekly in services. We have shadow shifts that they have to keep doing. They have assistance boat training. So there's probably a 140 point checklist that they have to get through by the 4th of July. So a lot of them are working on that pretty hard right now.
I can imagine there's people like me that wait till the last minute to do things. So, but you got to get it done.
Yeah. And it needs to be done every single year, because I feel like it's Groundhog's Day. We've done it before. For myself, it's the same general thing, but each time it's a teeny bit different. So we got to go back through and remind ourselves on all of those different components of the job.
Okay. As a multicultural, diverse community that is Madison, Dane County, uh, how are you also incorporating either through staff or folks to come out on the water, folks that are perhaps have some type of disability, and
Yeah.
to make that type of experience available, or to provide a job for someone who they're very capable, but there's a disability associated with it?
Yeah. Yeah. I really look at us as facilitators. We facilitate people going out on the water. We facilitate someone connecting with a friend that they haven't seen for a while. We're not always the ones. So if someone is interested in getting out on the water, we're going to make it. So we have a lot of different methods to make it extremely accessible for anyone. We will bring boats to different parts of the lake to make it really easy for them to access the water. We will even send staff sometimes with them to paddle out. So
Mhm.
we'll oftentimes put someone in like a tandem kayak, and then we'll go paddle with them. We'll do what we need to get them out on the water. If they have an interest, we will make it happen. And really the best thing that we've found is to make sure that other organizations that are really active in the different spaces, whether it's DEI, whether it's accessibility, know that we're a resource for them and that we will listen, that we will both meet what their expectations are and try to find a way to go above them so that it is easy for that organization, that group to get out, whatever it looks like. We partner with a number of different hiring um, programs to help give people opportunities and spaces that they might not otherwise be exposed to. And same with the paddling. We have a lot of different programs, whether it be with schools, youth groups. We have a Lake Explorer camp with the Bayview Community Center and Boys and Girls Club, a lot of different places where we will either be the actual educators or we will help facilitate their group getting out depending on what they want. So part of it is not always like telling them how to do it, but just being available and listening and then making sure when they do it, they're celebrated and they're seen and that they want to come back again.
I love it. I love it. I am curious now. By the way, as you and I are chatting, you had a kayaker come across the screen. I thought that was just absolutely wonderful. These bodies of water, I mean, from the time you started in the business, working for the original owner, taking over the business, how have you seen the commitment to the water itself and nurturing not only the quality of the water, but also the near shore? You've got nesting birds, you've got waterfowl, you have fish. How are those types of activities or necessity to keep your business vibrant? Okay,
Yep.
you need good quality nature to be surrounded by it. So,
Yeah.
how are you seeing those changes over the years?
So I gotta say right now, as I'm sitting up here, I heard a sound that I haven't heard for the longest time, a giant bullfrog.
Mm,
I remember as a kid somewhat seeing them when I was here on the lakes, more often when I was going to other places, but not in the city. Right now, my sister told me she saw one yesterday and I could hear it. It's a big bullfrog just sitting right here. It's incredible. We have a nice Madison is really sneaky
mhm.
in its urban adventure. Like we don't have the giant peaks or the fast water. So it's not the place where you're like, oh, I'm going there for outdoor adventure. But it's really sneaky how it'll just everywhere you go, it's there. This urban outdoors is just so intermixed. And I think that the dedication to our urban outdoors has continued to get better and better. And we're seeing those results time and time again. Growing up, the lakes were dirty. I'm not saying they're very clean right now,
Mhm.
but I can remember a time where everybody just accepted that that's how they were
Mm.
and that's how they were going to be. And that was it. You just, that's how they were. I have to give a big shout out to the Clean Lakes Alliance. They started up. I was on the founding community board with them, but they've really put the lakes at the center of our community and lake health at the forefront. They have an advocacy so that all of our policymakers know what's going on. They have a state of the lakes report that gets really deep into the science. And then they throw big parties. They have a frozen assets party in the middle of the lake with kites and education and bands and DJs. And it always trying to make sure that the residents also are tied to the lakes in a meaningful way and understand that they're also responsible for the health of the lakes. They set up an alert system where you're notified if it's about to rain to get your leaves out of the street because that just acts like tea and puts phosphorus right into the lake, which creates algae explosions.
Wow.
So I would say that our community in the last 10 years, 15 years has become extremely aware of the lake health and lake quality. And that's really exciting because with that awareness comes real change. And I mentioned the bullfrog. I got one other really fun story. We had a watch
Okay.
party for the World Cup. A friend brought in a big video wall. It was a beautiful night. And we had our cranes, our resident crane family. They always come through each evening, but there's about 500 people in the park. They landed on one side of the park. They didn't care. They had their two chicks. They walked right through 500 people, walked past the boathouse and down the path. Everybody just was amazed. And that ability to connect with the animals, the lake, while watching the World Cup and the rest of the world was like such a neat moment. So, as I mentioned, Madison has so many great places to go paddle, to go explore, trails to go bike ride. I mean, there's so much here, and that just kind of is everywhere throughout our kind of lifestyle and what we're seeing. And in terms of the quality and the health of the lakes, I'm seeing that really being a focal point for the entire community, not just the lake users, not just for the avid paddler. It's a point of pride. It's a point of identification for Madisonians. So
Hmm.
yeah, the lakes are a lot about us. So they reflect on us. So we want them to be better. We want to be better always.
Okay. Very good. I would love if we could do a quick tour of the website just to kind of show our visitors listening to the episode, say on YouTube, to kind of explore a little bit. If you could take us
Yes.
on a tour, okay. And then when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about the conference and how Madison Boats is going to be participating in some of our conference activity. So let's get to the website. I am going to share my screen if I can get it up there. There it is. Technology has been an interesting factor today. All right, so have the website and take us on a little tour, and I will you direct and I will navigate.
Well, we wanted to make web design. You said you were in the IT space prior. I have a lot of fun with solving problems. That's why I'm still attracted to this job. There's always a problem. And trying to figure out a good website is hard. How do you create easy navigation? How do you make it simple? So we're still striving for that. So if you got any advice, Howard, I would be grateful.
Dude, I'm
Um,
like right there with you. I I know I can see a straight line, but I can't draw one.
yeah.
So I'm gonna be sitting with you, hoping for the best. But hey, look, I love your logo. It just dawned on me the paddle includes the skyline. So that was
Yeah.
pretty cool. So
Thank
hey,
you.
all
Thank
right.
you. We're getting there.
Yeah.
So I think the easiest thing is primarily we're a boat rental company. We do so many programs, so many events. We have a huge camp. People who are visiting Madison, people who are visiting Madison Boats are typically looking to rent a boat. So right there in the front, you want to click on rent your boat,
Okay.
orange button there. That opens up. And now we have a couple different options. You can either go explore us by our locations, which is that top row, or if there's a particular watercraft, we want to make sure that there's pontoon boats as well as paddlecraft. So we can go in either direction there.
Okay. Okay. And your three locations, so it's Wingara, Brittingham, and Marshall.
Yes.
Okay.
So Wingra is, I mean, I can hear the announcer calling for the Badgers when the Badgers are playing football. We're right
Okay.
in the near west side, but that's where I'm at right now. We're surrounded by the Arboretum. It's a small lake, no wake ever allowed, no gas there, just on weekends. And it is, uh, I mean, this is about as remote as you can get for a city center. And it's a really magical place. It's spring fed. There's a couple of wonderful tributaries that you can paddle up to and actually see the water bubbling out of the ground.
Mhm.
Our Brittingham Boats is such a fun scene. It is exciting. It's right on Monona Bay. You paddle underneath a couple of railroad tracks, and then you're in front of the Monona Terrace. And this is really how the city was designed to be seen, was with the Monona Terrace looking right at the Capitol. It's such a fun spot. Turn to the right coming out of the railroad tracks, and you can paddle up Wingra Creek and be completely immersed again in nature. So you got the city, you got nature, no matter which location you pick. Our far west side location, Marshall Boats, is where we have the pontoon boats. We do a lot of different things with the pontoons as well as paddlecraft. And that place is really special because you can, with the prevailing winds, even though it's
Mhm,
on the biggest of our lakes, it is one of the calmest places. So when
mhm.
teeny little Lake Wingra is too rough to paddleboard, we're paddleboarding along the west side of Lake Mendota, and it's really cool. So just a fantastic escape. This one also, you can, in about 15-20 minutes, you can be in Pheasant Branch Conservancy, which
Okay.
is another tributary and a big source of water with the springs coming out of there. And I'm actually excited because we have a fun program that we'll be doing during your conference
Okay.
out at Marshall. So I'm going to just go ahead and skip ahead to that because this is kind of a fun thing. We're going to
Uh,
pontoon boat over, and we're going to have someone share a little bit about the history of the
Okay.
lake, some of the different incredible things that are going over with the Native American dugout canoes that were found over 3,500 years old.
Okay.
We're going to get over to Marshall. We're going to hop in some kayaks and we're going to paddle up into Pheasant Branch Conservancy. We'll paddle back, hop back onto those comfortable pontoon boats, and go back downtown to our auxiliary location at the Edgewater Hotel right downtown.
Love
So
it.
we got a pontoon, paddle, pontoon, get to experience all of it in a nice half day trip.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Now, will this trip, it sounds like it'll probably be before one of our pre-conference excursions, or
I
will,
believe it is.
okay. All right. Excellent. Pontoon is like my style. My biggest fear, I have to share this with you, is I've been kayaking before. I was on a double kayak up in Alaska. I did it. I'm very happy. I survived. I was literally in Tennessee at one of our what we call Field Fest up in Tennessee, and I was on shore in a kayak, and the host of the experience pushed me out onto the water, and I literally just tipped over. So the picture of the pontoon boat right now, that's
That's
like
that's the spot for you.
that's my spot, or an incredibly wide pontoon that's not going to tip. Okay.
We have 5 different sizes of kayaks,
Okay.
and
Or
we
kayak.
yeah, we make sure that if you've had that experience before, we want to help you try to get it. It still doesn't have to be your jam at all. Well, we're not gonna convince you to
Okay.
do something that you don't want to do. But yeah, I'll take you out, Howard. We'll go for a little paddle, and then we'll go sit in the pontoon boat and have one of the captains drive us around with a couple of beverages and some snacks.
There you go. Okay. I love that. I love that. I love that. By the way, this is such a cool little map. All right, folks. One of the dangers of trying to put the outdoors in the outdoor adventure series is sometimes technology, sometimes the weather doesn't cooperate, but Tyler and I are making it happen. Now, we were just finishing off a kind of a breakdown of some of the activities at the various locations. As I,
Yeah.
if I think I'm correct here, Tyler, you just invited me to go on a very comfortable pontoon excursion, so I'm there with
Oh,
you
we're
for
doing it.
we're doing it. All right, love it. But before we head back to just you and I having a conversation, what where else on the website would be helpful for
You
our
know,
listeners, the viewers
if
to see?
you yeah, if you close out this X,
Okay,
the or go back to the home, if you scroll down,
okay,
this easily shows our locations. And
right,
then if you keep going down, you can see some of our other services. So we do
Okay.
have a lot of memberships, marinas, camps, group
Okay.
rentals. But the fun one is our events.
Okay.
I had alluded this to it a little bit earlier, but we just have a lot of fun with them. And we just have so many different ones from ice cream boat floats where people paddle out and make their Sundays out in the middle of the lake, full
Oh,
moons, the sound bath.
uh-huh.
And there's just so many different kind of ways to help people get out and explore. And during COVID, we were one of the only things that was able to be open,
Mhm.
and it was a lot of fun. No, it wasn't. It was it was so challenging, so stressful, but we
But you made
did
it
get
happen. You
we
made it
made it
happen.
happen. We got people out, and it was a really powerful time where just getting out was such an amazing thing.
Mhm.
Madison's a fun city, and especially during the summer, there is no end to the activities, the different things that you can and should do while
Right.
you're in the city. So if you guys are coming in, if anybody listening to this is coming in, book another day. Like just extend it. It's going to be worth it if you can.
Love it.
So one of the things we kept hearing was I I want to be down at the lake. I want to
Right.
be on the water, but I just forgot or I just didn't do that. So in a way, a lot of these activities are reasons to return. Whether
Mhm.
they actually come and do it, there's only so many times that I can tell you, Howard, hey, you should come paddle. You should come paddle. You should come paddle. It kind of gets boring. But if you hear about, oh, hey, Burgers on the Bay with Whiskey Farm, what's Whiskey Farm? Oh, I follow that band or something like that. You may not come to the event, but hopefully we're back in the forefront of your head. And maybe when you're coming home from work, looking
Mhm.
for what you're going to do that evening, a
Mhm.
quick hour paddle gets put into your agenda. So
I
we
think that's
found a lot of,
wonderful.
yeah. So we're quickly becoming we were before COVID in 2019, we were an events company, almost more than a paddlecraft. We're again moving back into that direction with just a lot of different fun things going on.
I love it. Well, you're an events company or an experiences community company that just happens
Yeah.
to deliver on the water. And what I love about Madison, and I had been to Madison twice. I literally did not know that it was surrounded by 3 lakes and then the capital is on the isthmus, so shame on me. When I lived in Chicago at the time, before I moved to Chicago, I didn't know there was a river going through it. But what I love about Madison, like Chicago, like in Milwaukee, is there are 4 seasons we can do and activities, experience winter activities, but we live for the spring and the summer and the
Yeah.
early fall. And
Yeah, we do.
and and I can see in Madison, water is just an important part of the overall experience that people can take advantage of. And this is why when I always look for my next place to live, I think Madison might very well be on that list. So thank you
I-
for that.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
Right. And now we've got a lot of the events. Now you're going to help
Yeah.
plan you have some events being planned for the
Yeah.
Outdoor Writers Association, OWAA. Let's talk a little bit
Yeah.
about that. So I'm going to stop sharing. Now you and I are back. So our listeners, especially folks watching the video, will notice that we are no longer we're basically have some beautiful backgrounds, not the real deal, but looking good. So tell us a little bit about the activities that are being planned for, and also your participation in our annual conference coming up in August.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you guys coming to Madison, spending some time here. So one of the things that we wanted to do with you, and I already talked about it, was our Lake Mendota experience, a new program that we have where we pick people up from the Edgewater, which is right downtown, take them over, have a paddle excursion and an experience, um, and then bring you back. And so it's a really nice way to truly experience the full gamut of kind of what you get to do here in Madison of relaxation, exploration, nature, urban. It's it all. So that'll be our main activity that we have. But also, I wanted to make sure as I was working with Destination Madison, they have so many things to fit it in. So I kept asking, all right, well, where else can I get? How else can we do this? What more can we do? They have a wonderful agenda, packed full. But if you have any time, and I've put in a couple of days before and afterwards, 20% discount, so you can come down and paddle or go on any of our events happening throughout that time, whenever you want. Take a break, get out on the water for an hour. We're there for you. So it's just welcome OWAA, and that'll get you 20% off on any paddlecraft rentals. Howard, or if anybody else is listening, shoot us an email about a pontoon. We'll find a discount for you for that too.
I love it. When I was back in Chicago early in the morning out on Monroe Harbor, the water was just like smooth as glass. And I imagine first thing in the morning, sun's just
Yep.
coming up, that water has to be like glass out there. And that's a great time to get out.
Yeah. Wing at our Winger location Tuesday mornings, we open at 6 a.m. and have a full health and wellness with Marigold Kitchen, which if you're up around the square, they have their main store there, and it is a must go. Marigold Kitchen's fantastic. And they have a food truck that they bring down to us at Wingra on Tuesdays. And then at Brittingham on the weekends, we open at 6 a.m. and they're there as well. So you can have your breakfast, grab an incredible breakfast burrito or one of the other items, go sit in a kayak and enjoy that magic moment. Those are the magic moments. They're so special.
I love it. And I really believe our members, as they come to the conference and make preparations, because some come with their spouses, their family, and I can only imagine how much fun they're going to have and the experiences that are going to be available to them. So it's very exciting. As we look back on the type of work that you have been doing, and you've been at this for quite a while, and you've got friends and family that are probably a part of this business too. But what has been your what I would call your aha moment? Like you got to pinch yourself and kind of alluded to that earlier. Like, wow, I get to do this.
I, I think you just said it. I get to do this. I mean, I, I think there's, I think the aha moment was I can do this. I can do this. In the early career exploration, it was self self-induced pressure to go find one of the more traditional paths. Then it was, well, this isn't really a job. So what's the job that I'm going to do when I grow up? And then, especially as I got an MBA in entrepreneurship, I found a lot of pressure to go and follow the traditional entrepreneurial route. How do you hit the home run? How do you raise a couple $1 million? What all of the typical path of the entrepreneur, whether you make it or not. And the lifestyle business was not really highlighted at that time in the programming and especially in the entrepreneurial circles that I was exploring. And I think the aha moment was, no, I can live this lifestyle
Mhm.
and I can do that. Now, I like a problem. I always like adding. I'm never going to let a mousetrap just be a mousetrap. It has to be a little bit better. So we keep throwing spaghetti at the wall. And I gotta say, my hard part that I've been struggling with for the last couple of years, especially with the young family,
Mhm.
um, is how not to let the growth, the expansion, the demands um, overwhelm me
Mhm.
and get in the way of the enjoyment of those of what we do. I mean, I
Right.
didn't I didn't choose to get into the boat rental business for the money. Like it's because I like the water, I like the people. So how do I make sure that that I don't let the whirlwind of work and demands overshadow those positive moments. So I have a note in my car right now that's really helpful. Not just done, but fun.
Mhm.
So like, yeah, I can fix that pontoon boat. I'll always get a call, something's broken. So if I fix it, like rather than just walking away, grab the three staff that were helping with me and let's go test it and just go out and take the
Mhm.
pontoon boat out for 2 minutes and jump off. Doesn't have to be longer than 5 minutes, but add that little piece of fun of why we're there, connect with some people in the moments of the busyness. And that's been I think that's always a challenge for any small business owner, especially if it's seasonal, especially if it's in the high demand world of that we live in. How can we scale without burnout?
Sure.
And I don't have the answer fully, but well, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there. One thing that it dawns on me as you have been sharing this, you picked up on this desire to have a life worth living and loving, doing work that was felt good for you, that tugged on your heartstrings, as opposed
Yeah.
to like, oh my God, I got a job I have to go to. It sounds like you discovered that earlier when you were going through your entrepreneurship program and having the experience on the water. Many people started to discover that during COVID. I mean, that's literally how this outdoor adventure series got started, because I had moved from Chicago to Nevada and
Yes.
wanting to get outside, see the stars, go car camping. And so many folks decided I can't do this 9 to 5 job anymore. And they discovered there's other ways to make a living, but also have fun doing it. And sounds like you discovered that earlier on. I think the challenge is, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, is how do you bring others up through the running this business so that you can then trust that they're going to do the work while you kind of take a step back and maybe observe, be the conductor of the business, as opposed to
Yeah.
having to work in it every day.
I I think you're right, but that comes with its own huge challenge because no one wanted it to get into this type of work to be an administrator or sit in an ivory office. We got in it because we like the paddling or the
Yeah.
people or the hands-on or the direct interaction. And so I almost kind of put it back and say the hardest part is how do I stay engaged in the day-to-day actions. If I'm pushing in and out of kayak, I'm having fun. I'm
Okay.
I'm interacting with that customer. I'm getting that personal reward back to me. Sitting at
Okay.
the office, selling a corporate group a big, huge package that is gonna help keep the lights on. That I have to do that. And it's really important for me to do it. But it's actually sitting with that same corporate group and setting up their, I don't know, the burger bar and just talking with the organizer while I'm like putting the coleslaw in the bowl. I don't know. It's those moments that are so hard to say are valuable
Mhm.
because you keep putting the pressure on yourself to do those high level tasks or to sit back and you need to but I find my push pull being the like I always feel like I should be doing the high level stuff, but I find the reward when I actually get to experience the hands on service.
Well, I mean, and that's totally fair. I mean, I love, like, with this podcasting, having conversations like we're having today, knowing that I have to now piece together 3 different portions of a podcast this weekend because I've committed to getting this published on Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's the one, oh man, that's gonna take a day to do. But I would rather have these kind of conversations. So we have to
Yeah.
choose, I guess, what makes us the most
Yeah.
happiest.
Yeah.
I
I
love
think
it.
that's right.
I love
I
it.
think that's right.
So Tyler, if our listeners would like to learn more about Madison Boats, we've just visited the website, madisonboats.com, and we can visit the site. They can check out the locations and the experiences that are available at those locations. Where else is a good place to get to know Madison Boats?
We're trying to be better on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm really pleased this year for maybe one of the first time our younger staff have actually kind of latched on to making some of the videos and doing some of the posts because the rest of the management team, it's not our strong suit and we just, that's not who we are. So finally, for the first time, there's some really fun videos coming out, some good pictures coming through. So definitely check us out on Facebook, Instagram, but just trust me when I say add an additional day on your stay. Come visit us one place or next. Just go for a walk. Your background picture is a perfect example of John Nolan Drive. It, I mean, I would love for you to come and visit Madison Boats, but wherever you are in Madison, you'll be getting to experience some of the powerful aspects of just our lakes and how great it is to be here.
Excellent. Well, I am looking forward to meeting you in person and
Same.
experiencing Madison Boats and Madison hospitality. So
We're
very
looking
much
forward
looking
to it.
forward. All right. Listen, Tyler, thank you for joining me on the podcast today and really helping to put the outdoors in the Outdoor Adventure Series. And technology is what it is, but it's going to be a great episode. And you've shared a lot of great information, not only about Madison Boats and your philosophy and how you're not a boat company, you're an experienced company building community and
Yes.
just helping to get the community out on this very precious resource, which is these wonderful lakes that surround Madison. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. Listen, stay in the line. We're going to do a quick close and then you and I can have a final chat. Okay.
Great.
All right, folks, we have just been chatting with Tyler Leeper. He is the president and owner of Madison Boats. Madison Boats will be joining us at the OWAA's annual conference this August, and we're very excited for the experiences that are being planned for our members. And I'm excited to perhaps get back out on the water beyond pontoon's more my style, but hey, if Tyler's there, I may have to try to get back out onto a kayak. We really do hope you enjoyed today's episode, and make sure you go out to, if you're going to be in the Midwest, check out Madison. What a wonderful city where its location is perfect. Matt, Milwaukee is a four-season destination, but because of these water activities, the spring, summer, early fall, you have great opportunities to get out and experience Madison from the water. Now, do go out and visit Madison Boats website at madisonboats.com. We'll provide a backlink to it as well as to their social sites. As for us, you can find this episode on our website, outdooradventureseries.com. We're also on Facebook and on LinkedIn on our Outdoor Adventure Series pages. The video of this episode will be up on our YouTube channel, Outdoor Adventure Series. And of course, you can listen to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. And before we leave today, we want to thank Destination Madison for sponsoring this episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series. Thanks to their support, we can introduce you to guests like Tyler. And to begin planning your Madison getaway, visit Destination Madison at visitmadison.com. Until next time, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there and have a fantastic day. And we look forward to having you join us on a future episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. Take care.